Did you know that a growing number of people across Canada? Your support is free, but priceless. Subscribe to Canada Scope, are quietly packing up and leaving the cities they once called home. Not because they dreamed of starting over, but because staying is starting to feel impossible. For many families, this is not some dramatic lifestyle choice. It is a hard money move, pushed by rising bills, tighter rules, and housing prices that keep squeezing people from every side. And here is the wild part. This shift is not getting the loud attention you might expect. On the outside, the big cities still look strong. Streets are busy, new buildings keep going up, restaurants are full. Everything looks normal if you only take a quick glance. But underneath that shiny surface, a very different story is playing out. Rent is moving faster than paychecks, and people are starting to feel trapped. Rules are changing, costs are jumping, and everyday life is getting harder to keep up with. For many people, staying in the same city no longer feels safe or stable. It feels like a gamble. So the real question is simple. How long before this pressure reaches your front door too? In this video, we are breaking down 10 major reasons behind this growing relocation trend and what it could mean for your future. Some of these reasons may surprise you, and one of them could seriously affect your next big decision. This is not about panic. It is about paying attention before the situation gets too close to ignore. Number 1. The exploding cost of living. The first major reason people are leaving major Canadian cities is simple. Life has become too expensive. Across the country, basic costs are rising fast, and many households are struggling to keep pace. Groceries, electricity, gas, transit, insurance, phone bills, and everyday services are all taking a bigger bite out of people's income. A few years ago, many of these costs felt manageable. Now, the same simple lifestyle can feel like a financial workout every single month. People are not suddenly living fancy. They are buying regular food, paying regular bills, and trying to cover normal needs. But the numbers are not moving in their favor, and that is where the pressure starts to build. What makes this even more serious is that wages have not kept up for many workers. When prices climb faster than income, people get stuck in a nasty gap. They may be working full-time, picking up extra shifts, or cutting back on small comforts, but still feeling like they are falling behind. That kind of pressure wears people down. Imagine getting the same paycheck, but every bill that lands in your inbox is higher than before. Rent goes up. Groceries cost more, transportation gets more expensive. Even small purchases start to feel annoying. That is the reality many Canadians are dealing with, and it explains why moving is becoming less about chasing a dream and more about protecting the budget. This is where smaller towns and less crowded regions start looking way more attractive. They may not have every big city perk, but they can offer something powerful. Breathing room, lower rent, cheaper daily expenses, less financial pressure, and a better chance to actually save money can change a family's whole situation. So think about this for a second. If your cost of living jumped by 25%, would your current income still cover your lifestyle without stress? For many Canadians, the honest answer is already no. That is why some people are choosing to leave before the squeeze gets even tighter. Number 2, the housing affordability crisis. If one issue is pushing people closer to the edge, it is housing. For a long time, owning a home was seen as a basic life goal in Canada. Work hard, save money, buy a place, build stability. But now, for many people, that path feels blocked before they even get started. And renting is not the easy backup plan anymore. In many major cities, rent has climbed so high that people are spending a huge share of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. Some households are paying more than half of what they earn on housing alone, leaving very little for food, transport, childcare, debt, savings, or emergencies. That is a scary setup because one unexpected bill can throw the whole month off balance. A car repair, a medical cost, a job slowdown, or even a rent increase can turn a tight budget into a serious problem. People are starting to realize that living in a high-cost city can look exciting from the outside, but feel exhausting behind closed doors. So what is driving this housing mess? It is not just one thing. Limited housing supply, strong demand, expensive borrowing, and higher interest rates have all made the market harder to handle. Fewer available homes means more people competing. More competition pushes prices up. And when borrowing gets more expensive, buying becomes even harder. For many Canadians, this creates a brutal choice. Stay in a city where most of your money disappears into rent, or move somewhere cheaper and try to build a more stable life. That is why relocation is becoming a serious option for people who never thought they would leave. They are not giving up on their communities. They are trying to find a place where their money still has power. The result is a housing market where prices keep moving up, while regular people keep trying to catch up and falling short. First-time buyers are getting hit especially hard. Many are delaying the dream of owning a home for years. and some are quietly accepting that it may not happen at all. That kind of pressure changes people's plans fast. Instead of chasing the big city dream, more Canadians are asking whether that dream is even worth the cost. So why are people looking elsewhere? Because in smaller towns and less crowded regions, housing can still feel possible. People may get more space, less noise, and lower monthly costs, even if they give up some big city convenience. For many, that trade-off looks smart, not like a downgrade. And here is the uncomfortable part. This housing pressure may not disappear overnight. So ask yourself, would you rather struggle for a small place in an expensive city or start fresh somewhere your money can finally breathe? For many people, the decision has already been made. They are packing up, moving out, and choosing stability over status. Number 3, job market shifts. Another major reason behind this trend is the changing job market. The way people work in Canada has changed in a big way, and the old rules do not hit the same anymore. Remote work, hybrid jobs, and digital careers have changed the game. More workers are realizing they do not need to live beside an expensive downtown core just to earn a solid income. If a laptop and stable internet can do the job, paying big city prices starts to feel harder to justify. But this is where it gets deeper. Some industries are growing, while others are slowing down, cutting roles or moving work to different places. Tech, customer support, finance, marketing, and other office-based jobs are becoming more flexible in many cases. That creates a messy job map where opportunity is not gone, but it is moving. For many workers, staying in the same city no longer guarantees safety. People are getting more street smart about their choices. Instead of picking a city first and hoping the job works out, they are asking, where can I live that gives me the best mix of income, lower costs, and peace of mind? A lot of the time, that answer points away from the biggest cities. Smaller regions are pulling in remote workers who want to stretch their paychecks instead of watching them disappear into rent, parking, food, and bills. If your job no longer forced you to stay in one place, would you still choose the most expensive option? For a growing number of Canadians, the answer is no. People are realizing they can earn strong money while living with lower costs, and that is a powerful move. Number 4. Immigration policy changes. Another factor shaping this relocation wave is the changing immigration landscape. Canada has long been known as a country that welcomes newcomers, but policy updates and tighter planning can affect where people settle and how communities grow. These changes are not always obvious right away, but they can still shape housing demand, local job markets, schools, healthcare access, and population growth. When rules around visas, work permits, student pathways, and residency options change, the impact can spread across the whole country. Some programs are designed to bring skilled workers into specific provinces or regions, not only into already crowded cities like Toronto or Vancouver. That means population growth can spread into new areas. This can bring workers, businesses, and energy, but it can also create pressure if housing, transit, and public services are not ready. And here is the key point. When settlement patterns change, it does not only affect newcomers, it affects everyone living in those areas. More demand can push rents higher, increase job competition, and put extra stress on local services. Meanwhile, places that attract fewer people may grow more slowly. That imbalance can quietly influence whether people stay or move. If policies change faster than communities can adjust, families and workers may look for places that feel more stable, affordable, and easier to manage. Immigration policy is not the only reason people relocate, but it is part of the bigger picture. Number 5. Urban congestion and lifestyle burnout. Beyond money, housing, and policy, there is a more personal reason people are leaving: big city burnout. Life in Canada's largest cities can be exciting, but it can also feel packed, rushed, and mentally heavy. What once felt fun, busy streets, endless options, constant movement, can start to feel like too much. Long commutes, crowded trains, traffic jams, noise, and limited personal space can wear people down day after day. Imagine spending hours every week just getting to work and back, then coming home too tired to enjoy the life you are paying so much to live. Over time, that routine can turn into stress, frustration, and a strong desire for something calmer. That is why more people are putting quality of life above convenience. Smaller towns and less crowded areas are starting to look seriously tempting, not because they are louder or more exciting, but because they offer something many city residents are missing: peace. Cleaner air, quieter streets, shorter commutes, and a stronger sense of community are now being seen as real upgrades, not sacrifices. And this shift is bigger than just escaping stress. People are starting to rethink what a good life actually means. For many, success is no longer about living in the biggest city or having the flashiest address. It is about having time, space, calm, and a mind that is not constantly running on empty. So ask yourself this: is city convenience really worth the non-stop pressure that comes with it? More Canadians are deciding the answer is no, and that choice is pushing them toward a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. Number 6. Climate and environmental pressures. Another factor people can no longer ignore is the growing impact of climate and environmental risks. Across Canada, Extreme weather events have become a bigger concern, from wildfires in the west to flooding, smoke, storms, and winter disruptions in different regions. This is not just some background issue anymore. It is starting to affect where people feel safe building a life. In recent years, some communities have faced evacuations because of wildfire danger or heavy smoke, forcing families to leave with little warning. In other areas, flooding has damaged homes, roads, and local infrastructure, making long-term planning feel less certain. And it is not only about major disasters. Some people are noticing slower changes too, like air quality concerns, higher insurance costs, and growing property risks in certain areas. That adds a new kind of stress, because now the question is not only, can I afford to live here? It is also, can I feel secure here? For both homeowners and renters, that matters a lot. People are becoming more careful about where they settle, especially if they are thinking long-term. Areas with lower environmental risk, cleaner conditions, or a stronger sense of stability are starting to look more attractive, even if they were not the obvious choice before. So here is the real question. Would you stay somewhere if the risks seem to grow year after year? For many Canadians, the answer is no. Climate and environmental pressure may not always be loud, but it is quietly becoming a major reason people rethink where they live. Number 7, education and family priorities. For many households, moving is not just about money, jobs, or cheaper rent. It is about family, stability, and the future. As life gets more expensive and more stressful in major cities, more parents are asking where their children can have the best chance to grow. The focus is shifting fast. It is no longer only about being close to downtown, shopping, and city entertainment. Parents are looking at schools, safety, childcare costs, space, and whether daily life feels manageable. In big cities, there may be many opportunities, but there are also some serious pressures. Overcrowded schools, expensive childcare, and limited family-friendly housing can make life feel like a daily hustle. Imagine trying to handle work, school schedules, bills, transportation, and rising costs, all while wondering if next year will be even harder. That kind of pressure can push families to look for a better setup. This is why smaller communities and suburban areas are getting more attention. These places can offer more room, a stronger neighborhood feel, and sometimes better access to family-focused services. Parents are not just thinking about grades, they are thinking about whether their children can feel safe, supported, and socially connected. Long-term planning is a big part of this too. Families are asking, will this place still be affordable in 5 years? And is this really the best environment for my child's future? When the answers feel shaky, relocation starts to look less extreme and more practical. So think about it. If you had to choose between a high-cost city lifestyle and a calmer, more stable environment for your family, what would matter most? For many Canadians, the answer is becoming clear, and they are moving to build a better future for the people who matter most. Number 8. Changing government regulations. Another reason some people are relocating is the wave of policy changes that can affect everyday life. These are not always huge headline-making laws, but smaller changes can still reshape how affordable and practical it feels to stay in one place. Over time, these rules can add up. Changes around rent control, property taxes, zoning, short-term rentals, and housing rules can affect both tenants and homeowners. Landlords may adjust prices because of new costs, while some owners may decide to sell instead of dealing with tighter rules or extra pressure. That can create a real ripple effect. Housing supply can become tighter, prices can feel less predictable, and people may start questioning whether their city is still worth the cost. On top of that, some provinces and cities are introducing policies meant to manage growth, guide housing demand, or reduce pressure in crowded areas. While these policies may bring long-term benefits, the short-term effect can feel messy and confusing. People may understand that governments are trying to fix big problems, but when the rules keep changing, planning a stable life becomes much harder. That is what makes this part so stressful. One year, the rules around rent, taxes, zoning, or housing programs may look one way. Then new updates come in, and people have to rethink their plans again. For families, renters, homeowners, and small landlords, that uncertainty can feel like the ground is moving under their feet. And here is where behavior starts to change. Instead of waiting around to see what happens next, some Canadians are making a street-smart move. They are looking for places where the rules feel clearer, the costs feel more predictable, and the future does not seem packed with surprise changes. So think about this. How comfortable would you feel making long-term plans if the rules around housing, taxes, or living costs kept shifting? For many Canadians, that uncertainty is enough to make them consider a fresh start somewhere more stable. Number 9, declining purchasing power. Even when salaries look steady on paper, real life can tell a very different story. One overlooked reason people are relocating is declining purchasing power, which means your money does not stretch as far as it used to. And that hits harder than people expect. This is not only about prices going up, it is about income slowly losing strength over time. A paycheck that once covered rent, food, transportation, bills, and some savings may now barely cover the basics. Think about it. A few years ago, the same income might have supported a decent lifestyle. Maybe you could pay rent, fill the fridge, cover gas, handle utilities, and still put something aside. Today, groceries cost more, fuel prices move around, insurance can rise, utilities keep climbing, and the leftovers get smaller. That creates a frustrating situation. People feel like they are working just as hard, maybe even harder, but getting less back. The worst part is that this squeeze does not always happen overnight. It builds slowly. First, you cut back on small extras, then you delay a purchase, then you stop saving, then you ask the real question: is staying here still worth it? For many Canadians, the answer is starting to sound like no. Instead of battling high costs in expensive regions, they are looking for places where the same income can do more. In smaller cities or less crowded areas, their money may cover more space, comfort, and breathing room. That is a powerful shift. People are not just chasing cheap rent. They are chasing balance. They want to feel like their work actually gives them something back. So ask yourself this: if your lifestyle kept shrinking while your effort stayed the same, how long would you put up with it? Number 10. Digital freedom and the remote work revolution. The final reason, and maybe the biggest game changer, is the rise of remote work. What once looked like a temporary office experiment has become a real lifestyle shift for millions of workers. Jobs that once required daily office work are now being done from home offices, kitchen tables, coffee shops, and completely different cities. That one change opens a huge question. If I can earn the same income from almost anywhere, why am I paying top dollar prices to stay in one of the most expensive places? In the past, people stayed close to major cities because that is where the jobs were. The deal was simple: live near the opportunity, even if it costs more. But high-speed internet, online tools, video calls, and digital careers have changed that deal. Now, many professionals can work from places with lower costs and a calmer lifestyle. And people are catching on fast. Instead of choosing a home based only on office distance, they are choosing based on lifestyle, affordability, space, safety, and peace of mind. Smaller towns, quieter regions, and overlooked areas are now getting attention from remote workers who want a better setup. This is not just about convenience, it is about control. People can now shape their daily lives in a way that was harder before. They can choose a place that supports their mental health, financial goals, family plans, and long-term future. So here is the big question: if you had the freedom to live anywhere, would you still choose the place where you are now? For many Canadians, that answer is changing fast, and digital freedom is helping drive one of the biggest lifestyle moves in recent years. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, it becomes clear. This is not just a random trend or a few people getting restless. It is a major shift in how Canadians are thinking about money, housing, work, family, safety, and quality of life. From rising costs to remote work, each of these 10 reasons points toward one major decision. Do people stay and keep pushing through the pressure, or do they move and reset somewhere that makes more sense? That is the choice more people are facing right now, and this is the part that matters most. This is not about fear. It is about awareness. The more you understand what is changing, the better you can plan your next move. Maybe staying makes sense, maybe moving does. Either way, the goal is to build a life that feels stable and aligned with what you need. So take a moment and ask yourself, if things keep moving in this direction, are you truly in the best place for your future? That one question could change the way you look at everything. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you thinking about staying, moving, or just watching how things unfold? And do not miss the next video, where we break down how to choose the right place to live in today's changing world. Disclaimer: this content is for informational purposes only and should not replace professional financial, legal, real estate, or relocation advice.